I get asked with some frequency why How the Race Was Won doesn't cover women's racing, and the answer is much simpler than the usual, I swear I'm not sexist waffling about revenue or the sport not being developed. Simply put, I usually can't track down footage. But Worlds I can get, probably because the women's race is on a separate day, the only race in progress at the time, and it's fairly actively promoted despite the usual broadcast rights idiocy. So I'm pumped about this. I mean, Tommy Voeckler is cycling's model for idiosyncratic hemlines, but Mara Abbott puts him to shame, with the added benefit that when Abbott attacks in the mountains in a stage race, people actually take it seriously. If you've ever tried to explain road cycling to a friend, they've probably wondered about why the early breaks exist. Watching the US team at Worlds is a good explanation. From almost the first kilometers, the US parked riders like Jade Wilcoxon at the front to chase attacks and set tempo, rather than trying to send them up the road. And sure, it was pretty rad to watch TT bronze medalist Carmen Small power up the climb to Fiesole and shed like half the field, and then to see Kristen McGrath do it again the next time around the course, like, yeah, America! But also at the top of the Fiesole climb at 63k to go, we see a pack with 6 Italians and 4 Dutch riders kinda hanging out like, thanks for the pace setting, ladies. There's also the matter of the shorter, steeper Via Salviati climb a few kilometers later. Mara Abbott, the shorts are a dead giveaway, found herself in trouble. You can even see her stop and wait for Megan Garnier to tow her back up to the group as the leaders are cresting the climb. But the next time up Fiesole, Andrea Dvorak and Team USA, at the front once again. And then came attacks. Italy's Francesca Kautz, Netherlands' Lucinda Brand, and Australia's Tiffany Cromwell, with the latter two getting away. An escape, finally! This forces the others to chase, though this Polish rider, whose name I won't even try to pronounce, goes a little too hard and crashes spectacularly. And if you ever crash in a bike race, don't try to get back up like this. Very close to a race-altering moment here, as Marianne Vos, who you should probably just Google, shows bike racing is more than just power, nimbly adjusting her line to slip past the danger. The Via Salviati a few minutes later saw a reshuffle, Brand getting clear again, this time with Italy's Rossella Ratto. And tell me, Evie Stevens, is there any worse sensation than having Marianne Vos sit on your wheel with one of her teammates up the road? Climbing back up to Fiesole the next lap, USA pretty much has to chase, Italy and the Netherlands certainly aren't going to, and they burn off Mara Abbott to do it, and get counters from Germany's Trixie Worak and Russia's Tatiana Antoshina for their trouble. Better to be the one chased than doing the chasing. And I think Stevens comes to this same conclusion as Anna van der Breggen makes another Dutch counterattack. Deftly using the motos, which were really in the way all day to the point that it's hard to limit myself to one mention, Stevens powered across, stirring Vos and forcing a 7-rider selection. Sure, there were 3 Italians and 2 Dutch in the split, but at least the US was finally relieved of the burden of making pace. With 20+ kilometers remaining, the Italians tried to spring a rider clear with some 1-2-3 attacks, but van der Breggen was far too fresh. The leading group fell into a bit of a détente over the Via Salviati. And this cessation of hostilities let several straggling groups catch back on. One of these, Australia's Cromwell, tried her luck on Fiesole, but it was Stevens who would throw the defining attack, the only thing the Dutch seemed to work hard to close all day. That said, they still managed, and went on to dictate the pace over the top of the climb. Stevens tried again on Via Salviati, but Sweden's Emma Johansson, who'd been lurking in the wheels all day, countered immediately, pulling Rosso and Vos clear for a brief moment before the reigning world champ decided to show us all that the previous half-decade or so hasn't been a fluke. Vos rolled home with ample time for impassioned saluting, while Johansson held off the break-wearied Ratto to close out the podium. The visual contrast between van der Breggen in 4th and Stevens in 5th should tell you all you need to know about the importance of getting your riders into the breaks. I'm Cosmo Catalano, and that's how the race was won.
Dog goes woof, cat goes meow, bird goes tweet, and mouse goes squeak. Cow goes moo, frog goes croak, and the elephant goes toot. Ducks say quack, and fish go blub, and the seal goes ow, ow, ow. But there's one sound that no one